The Indiana Fever will win the 2025 WNBA championship. The Indiana Fever are coming off a magical 2024 season. The Fever have quite the talent going into the new season, having the reigning Rookie of the Year and Caitlin Clark, a phenomenal player in Aliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, who is coming off one of her best years, and then the sleeper pick in Lexi Hall, who has been a huge asset for Indiana. The Indiana Fever's biggest weakness was their defense and coaching, which Indiana's management corrected quickly in the offseason with the hire of Stephanie White, a brilliant coach who has led teams to being top-tier defenses in the league. If we look at the progress that has been made since opening night of the 2024 season to the end of the season, there is no doubt it was going to take time for the entire team to build chemistry. After the 2024 Olympic break, we saw the true offense of the Indiana Fever, an electric offense that was going toe-to-toe with the Minnesota Lynx, the New York Liberty, and even the top-tier defense Connecticut Sun. There is only one team the Indiana Fever could not beat, in which it will be one of their obstacles for the 2025 season, because to be the best, you have to beat the best. The Indiana Fever will need to find ways to beat the best teams in the league early on to prepare for playoffs. There is no doubt that the Indiana Fever will make the playoffs. With a roster like theirs right now, it is playoff caliber, which leads to free agency. There is also no doubt that the Indiana Fever will be a hot destination spot for free agents. This is a team with a lot of youth that will win a championship at some point. The Indiana Fever are a much more dangerous team with Stephanie White because of her experience in the WNBA and how well of a coach she is. The Fever will be looking for another productive forward and center, as they let Timmy Fagbenle go in the expansion draft. An interesting move, but if they can replace her production with somebody in free agency or in the draft, there should be no concern. One of the biggest priorities this offseason is retaining Kelsey Mitchell, who is too valuable to let walk, as she is a great complement to Caitlin Clark. When both guards were on fire, the Fever looked unstoppable. One of the best offenses in the league is the Indiana Fever, having this offense paired with one of the best defensive-minded coaches, and we shall see how far of a run the Fever can make in the playoffs. Last season, just making the playoffs was huge. This upcoming season, it is an expectation, and to not only be a one-and-done team. The ceiling is making the championship itself, especially with the players on this roster. There is a lot of talent that will be guided in the right direction with Stephanie White. Fans should expect this team to make an underdog-like run in the playoffs. One of the best offenses in the league is the Indiana Fever, having this offense paired with one of the best defensive-minded coaches, and we shall see how far of a run the Fever can make in the playoffs. Last season, just making the playoffs was huge. This upcoming season, it is an expectation, and to not only be a one-and-done team. The ceiling is making the championship itself, especially with the players on this roster. There is a lot of talent that will be guided in the right direction with Stephanie White. Fans should expect this team to make an underdog-like run in the playoffs. In a recent episode of the New Heights podcast, hosted by NFL stars Jason and Travis Kelce, WNBA star Caitlin Clark expressed her excitement about the potential for a Kansas City franchise in the Women's National Basketball Association, WNBA. Clark, who was named the Rookie of the Year for the 2024 season with the Indiana Fever, spoke passionately about the growing momentum behind bringing the WNBA to the city, aligning herself with Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes and his wife, Brittany, in their efforts to support women's sports. Caitlin Clark made it clear that she fully supports the idea of expanding the WNBA to Kansas City. The city's strong foundation in women's athletics, coupled with its fervent sports fan base, makes it an ideal location for a new franchise. Clark remarked, "Women's basketball could be great there, so I'd support it." She added that she shares this enthusiasm with Patrick and Brittany Mahomes, who have long been advocates for women's sports in Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes champions Kansas City's sports potential. Kansas City Chiefs star Patrick Mahomes has been a vocal proponent of bringing more professional sports to the city. Through their ownership of the NWSL's Kansas City Current, Mahomes and his wife Brittany have demonstrated their commitment to women's sports.